A very good morning, students. Today we are going to do the political science and international relation means optional questions. These questions are quite important. We will be practicing the answer writing. So, once I go through the question, I will tell you the possible types of answers you can make. And please comment in the comment box about the new things that to be added into the question. So let us begin with the first question. Number one, state legislatures in India are increasingly becoming mere ratification chambers rather than deliberative bodies. State legislatures in India are increasingly becoming mere ratification chambers rather than deliberative bodies. Discuss. Now, if you want to start the answer, just mention the constitutional provision related to state legislature. What is the constitutional provision related to state legislature? Can anybody comment in the comment box, please? Then highlight the functions of the state legislature. First, the constitutional provision related to state legislature. Then the functions of the state legislature. Then give the evidence of state legislature as ratification. Evidence of state legislature as ratification. Then go into the factors that contributing to the decline. And once you tell about the factors, then suggest the measures to reinvigorate the state legislature. And finally, conclusion. So first, mention the constitutional provision related to state legislature. Then the functions of state legislature in India. Then evidence of state legislature as ratification. Then factors contributing to the decline. Then measures to invigorate the state legislature. Then conclusion. So let's begin with the answer. The state legislature in India is governed by various constitutional provisions under Part 6 of Constitution of India, which is tasked with making laws, debating public policies, holding the executive accountable. The state legislatures, once vibrant forums for rigorous debates, and policy making, are now perceived as losing their deliberative character, often functioning as mere extension of executive, rubber stamping decisions with minimal scrutiny. The state legislatures functioned as vibrant forums. Historically, state legislature in India played a crucial role as vibrant forums for debate, policy making, holding the executive accountable. There was rigorous debates in early decades of independence. During the 1950s and 60s, state legislature were known for intense debate on key issues such as land reforms, education policies, and industrial development. For example, the West Bengal Assembly engaged in prolonged debates on Operation Barga program, showcasing detailed discussions on implication for farmers and landowners. Then collaborative lawmaking. State legislature actively contributed to framing transformative laws such as Kerala Land Reform Act 1963 that witnessed exhaustive debates with detailed input from the legislature, leading to the effective implementation. Now, what happening nowadays is that there is a decline in sitting days. In recent years, state legislatures have convened for fewer days annually. The number averaging sitting days have declined steadily from 2016 to 2022. The 28 state assemblies met for 21 days on an average in 2022. There was a hasty passage of bills. Many state assemblies passed bill without adequate debate. For example, in 2022, 9 states including Bihar, Gujarat, Punjab and West Bengal passed all bills within a day of introduction. Then weak legislative committees. Unlike parliament, state legislatures seldom rely on committees for in-depth discussion. There was overuse of ordinances. Ordinances bypass legislative debate. In Kerala, 51 ordinances were issued within 2 weeks after the session ended and 44 promulgated 20 days before a session began, highlighting the executive dominance over legislative process. There was reduced participation of legislature. State legislature often focus more on local constituency issues rather than engaging in legislative discussions. Instances of disruption, adjournment, and lack of quorum further reflect diminishing legislative engagement. Now, what are the measures to be taken to reinvigorate the state legislature? Number one, mandatory minimum sitting days. Introduce constitutional provisions to ensure state legislature meet for at least 50 to 70 days annually, as suggested by various committees. Then, strengthen committee systems. Institutionalize subject-specific committees for detailed examination of bills and policies. For example, emulating the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. Then, capacity building for legislature. Provide legislature with training and access to research facilities, enabling informed debate and policy making. Encourage public participation. Promote citizen engagement in legislative process through public consultation and pre-legislative scrutiny. State legislatures are the bedrock of India's federal democracy. They must evolve from their current state of dormancy and reclaim their role as vibrant deliberative forums. Strengthening institutional mechanisms, ensuring legislative accountability, fostering a culture of informed debate are critical to reversing the trend of reduced deliberative functioning. So this was about the state legislature in India are increasingly becoming mere ratification chambers rather than deliberative bodies. Now let us move to the next question. Discuss the electoral reforms introduced by the Government of India Act 1935. Critically analyze how these reforms expanded political participation while simultaneously maintaining colonial political restrictions. Now, how to write this answer? Introduce the answer by briefing about the Government of India Act 1935. Give electoral reforms under Government of India Act 1935. Highlight how it expanded political participation. And finally, delve into the limitation and then conclude. The Government of India Act of 1935 marked a significant development in India's constitutional history. Among its key features were electoral reforms that aimed to expand political participation but retained several colonial constraints. These reforms introduced the concept of bicameral legislature, communal representation, and reserved seats to accommodate various communities and interests. Now, electoral reforms under the Government of India Act 1935. Introduction of separate electorates. The Act continued and expanded the provision of separate electorates for religious communities such as Muslims, Sikhs, and Anglo Indians. It aimed to ensure representation but ended up deepening communal divisions. Number two, reserved seats and weightages. Seats were reserved for minorities and specific communities in the legislature. The principle of weightage ensured minorities were overrepresented in provinces where they were not in the majority. Then, bicameral central legislature. The central legislature became bicameral, consisting of Federal Assembly, lower house, and Council of States, upper house. Members were partly elected and partly nominated, limiting the influence of elected representatives. Then provincial election and autonomy. Provincial legislatures were established with larger electorates and elections were conducted. Expansion of political participation. The Government of India Act 1935 significantly expanded political participation in the following ways. Number one, expansion of franchising. The electorate was expanded to include approximately 10 to 12% of Indian population based on property qualifications, income, and education. While this was an improvement from earlier limited franchise, it still excluded a vast majority of population, particularly the poor and illiterate. Provincial autonomy. Indian leaders at the provincial level could now legislate on subjects like health, education, and local government. This provided a training ground for Indian politicians to engage in governance. Then, women representation. For the first time, separate electorates for women were introduced, enabling their participation in decision making. However, the franchise for women remained limited to a small privileged section. Political awareness and party growth. The elections held under the Act provided a platform for political parties like Indian National Congress and others to mobilize masses and enhance political consciousness. While the Government of India Act 1935 expanded political participation through widened electorates, communal representation, and establishment of provincial autonomy, it was carefully designed to maintain colonial dominance. The British strategically used communal representation to divide Indian society. The powers of governors and governor general, including veto authority, ensured elected governments remained subordinate to British interest and undermined democratic intent of reforms. The limited nature of franchise ensured that political participation remained confined to elites, slowing the democratization process. Just to conclude, the electoral reforms in Government of India Act 1935 were double-edged sword. While they expanded political participation and provincial governance, they also reinforced communal divisions, maintained colonial control, and limited true democracy. Despite these drawbacks, the Act set the stage for India's future constitutional development and bolstered the push for full independence. The chairman of Rajya Sabha plays a crucial role in maintaining federal balance through their constitutional powers. Discuss. First of all, introduce the answer by highlighting the constitutionality of the office of chairman. Then delve into the role of chairman in maintaining federal balance. Give challenges in maintaining federal balance. The Article 89 of Constitution provides provisions for the chairman, that is the Vice President of India, presiding over the Federal Chamber of Parliament. The Rajya Sabha's design ensures the preservation of federalism as envisioned in the Constitution. The chairman plays a pivotal role in safeguarding state interest and maintaining the balance between union and states through their constitutional powers. Role of chairman in maintaining federal balance. Number one, legislative oversight on state-centric laws. Legislative oversight on state-centric laws. It guides the deliberation on key federal issues such as Article 249. What is Article 249? When Parliament legislates on state matters in national interest, it is Article 249. Article 312, 312, creating all India services that impact the governance. Then casting vote in contentious decision. Article 100 provides the chairman with a casting vote in case of a tie, ensuring a fair and balanced decision. Then preserving the federal character of Rajya Sabha. As the custodian of Rajya Sabha functioning, the chairman ensures that the debates uphold the constitutional principles of federalism, encourage discussion on issues directly impacting the states such as GST, ensuring neutrality and representation, maintains impartiality in debates, ensuring equitable representation of both smaller and larger states, prevents the dominance of central government narrative by enabling opposition and state-specific concern to be raised effectively, platform for addressing grievances against centralization, provides a forum for states' voice. Article 356 President Rule. Article 356 enables scrutiny of policies like centrally sponsored schemes, ensuring states' fiscal and administrative autonomy is respected. Then, crisis management and conflict resolution. It acts as a balancing figure, ensuring during the legislative deadlocks, ensuring states' perspectives are not overshadowed. It promotes consensus building in contentious matter, fostering cooperative federalism. Challenges in maintaining federal balance. Centralization of power. Increasing centralization of power in areas such as taxation, law and order, and public administration can undermine the state's autonomy, making it difficult for chairmen to protect the federal structure effectively. Political pressure and dominance of union government. The chairman, though constitutionally mandated to be impartial, often faces political pressure, especially when a single party holds a majority. The political affiliation of chairmen may impact their neutrality, particularly in sensitive matters that have federal implications. Structural reforms in federal issues. Complex federal issues such as interstate water disputes, resource sharing, and regional disparities require more than procedural oversight and demand structural reforms that the chairman alone cannot influence. Inadequate representation of state interest. Despite the chairman's role in ensuring balanced representation, there is still the challenge of underrepresentation of smaller states or those with specific regional concerns. The chairman of Rajya Sabha holds a pivotal role in upholding India's federal balance by ensuring impartial representation and safeguarding state interest. while their constitutional powers allow for critical interventions. While their constitutional powers allow for critical intervention, challenges like increasing centralization complicate the effective functioning of this route. To strengthen federalism, a more coordinated approach involving both legislative and structural reforms is necessary. So we have done these four questions. The chairman of Rajya Sabha plays a crucial role in maintaining federal balance through their constitutional powers. Electoral reforms introduced by Government of India Act 1935 analyzed how these reforms expanded political participation while simultaneously maintaining colonial political restrictions. State legislatures in India are increasingly becoming mere ratification chambers rather than deliberative bodies.